the much awaited trial scene which will decide the fate of Antonio. So, we are in the court of justice in Venice. Enter Duke, Magnificos, Antonio, Bassanio, Gratiano, Celerio, and others. So, we have the nobles of Venice along with these people. They are there to witness this very, very important trial scene which is going to take place. So, Duke is worried. So, he asks if Antonio is there. Antonio says, yes, I am ready, already here, Your Grace. Duke feeling sorry for him because he has already made many efforts. He shows sympathy towards Antonio and says, I am sorry for you. You have come to answer a stony adversary, an inhuman wretch, incapable of pity, void and empty from any dram of mercy. Children, he is referring to Shylock. Referring to him, he uses these phrases, stony enemy. Stony adversary. Adversary means enemy. Stone-hearted enemy. Inhuman wretch, not having the humanity. Incapable of pity, sympathy. Void and empty from any dram of mercy, having no or lacking even a bit of mercy. Antonio says, we know Antonio is a passive character now. Antonio has passively accepted his misery. He has accepted that he is going to die. So he says, I have heard Your Grace had taken great pains to qualify his rigorous course. Qualify his rigorous course to moderate the harsh legal proceedings. You have taken, my Grace, you have taken a lot of pains. But since he stands obdurate, since he again refers to Shylock, since he is adamant, he is obdurate, he is adamant that no lawful means can carry me out of his enemy's reach. And I know because of this, there are no legal means or methods which could save me out of his jealousies, reach, or his clutches. I do oppose my patience to his fury. He is furious. There is anger in him, but I will deal with him patiently. And I am armed to suffer. I am ready, prepared to suffer with a quietness of spirit. How will I suffer? I will keep calm. I will have calm spirit. The very tyranny and rage of his. I am prepared to face his cruelty and anger with calm spirit. So, Duke calls for Shylock. Calls Shylock to the court. Due to the court. Celerio says, he's ready, already there at the door. He comes, my lord. So, Duke tries to make another effort. Make room and let him stand before our face. Let him come, stand in front of us. Shylock, the world thinks, and I think so too, that thou but leadest this fashion of thy malice to the last hour of act. The world thinks, everybody around thinks, and even I think that you will carry on this show of the fashion of thy malice, this show of your cruelty till the last hour. And then what will you do? And then it is thought, thou wilt show thy mercy and remorse more strange than your cruelty is, or the penalty that you are taking. And then all of a sudden, that means you will show mercy and repentance. How? In the same manner as your cruelty is strange, in the same way you will show mercy and repentance in the same manner. And where though now exists is the penalty, which is a pound of this poor merchant's flesh, and thou wilt not only lose the forfeiture, but touched with human gentleness and love, forgive a moiety of the principal. And where now you are asking for the penalty, what will you do then? Which is a pound of, what is the penalty? You are asking for a pound of this poor merchant's flesh as a penalty, but when you will show mercy and when you will show repentance, you will not only lose your forfeitures, you will lose your penalty, but touched with human gentleness and love. But you will be touched, you will show sympathy, you will show love and gentleness. Forgive a moiety of the principal. Moiety, you will forgive a portion of the original amount. This is what he's saying, that we believe, all of us around, and Duke himself says that myself believe that you will do this. Why will he do this? So he explains, glancing an eye of pity on his losses that have of late so huddled on his back, and no to press a royal merchant down. And why will you do it? You will do it because you will see the losses that he has suffered. So sympathetically, eye of pity, you will show sympathy towards his losses, with which the losses that he has suffered so much. Okay, these are enough, the losses which are enough to press this royal merchant Antonio down. So you will show sympathy and pluck commiseration of his state from brassy bosoms and rough hearts of flint, from stubborn Turks and Tartars, never trained to offices of tender courtesy. These losses have been so severe to him, to ruin this noble merchant, that it will draw courtesy, it will draw pity. From whose hearts? Brassy bosoms. From the hard hearts. How hard? They hard as brass. We have the simile here. The bosoms or the hearts as hard as brass, or even as rough as flints. Flints means stones. Or as stubborn as Turks and Tartars, uncultured because they had never been trained. So these are three references he gives for the people who will see, if they see the condition of Antonio, if they would see the condition of Antonio, then their hearts would melt and they will even show sympathy. So three references: people with brassy bosom and rough hearts of stones, and as stubborn as Turks and Tartars, who have never been trained with the feeling of tender courtesy, human kindness. So even they will show some sympathy towards Antonio. So we all expect a gentle answer due. But Shylock will be Shylock. We already know that he is after the penalty, and he answers in this manner. A very long dialogue he has, and what is his answer? Shylock says, I have possessed your grace of what I propose. Possessed? I have already informed your grace. I have informed you, Duke, of what my intentions are. And by a holy Sabbath have I sworn to have the due and forfeit of my bond. I have vowed. By holy Sabbath, I have already taken the sworn. I have taken the oath to have the due, the main principal amount, and the penalty of my bond. If you deny it, let the danger light upon your charter and your city's freedom. And if you deny me this right, then you will put in danger what? The charter of your and the freedom of your city. You will ask me why I rather choose to have a weight of carrion flesh than to receive 3,000 ducats. It's okay, Duke, you can ask me, because I am taking Antonio's flesh, 1 pound of flesh, rather than 3,000 ducats. So you can ask me, why am I doing it? But I will not answer that. Look at the adamant Shylock. He says, I will not answer that. But say, it is my humor. Is it answered? So I will just say what? That I have fancy for it. Is your question answered? Now, Shylock gives a strange example. He says, what if my house be troubled with a rat and I be pleased to give 10,000 ducats to have it baned? What? Are you answered yet? So he is giving a reference. He is giving an example here of a rat. If his house, he says, is troubled by a rat, I will spend 10,000 ducats even to get rid of that rat, or to get rid of them by poisoning them. Have you got the satisfactory answer? Children, in a way, he is actually displaying his anger and anguish towards Antonio, telling that I'm troubled with Antonio. I'm troubled by this Christian person Antonio. This is what he means. And I'm trying to get rid of him by paying what? By losing 3,000 ducats. Then he says, some men there are love not a gaping pig. Now again he gives 3 examples. He says, there are some people who do not love a gaping pig. Then there are people, they get mad. Okay, they cannot stand a cat. They cannot behold, they cannot see a cat. And others, when the bagpipe sings in the nose, cannot contain themselves. And the others, they cannot have self-control because they have hatred some kind of towards the bagpipe sound. So when the bagpipe sings, they don't want to listen to the shrill note of bagpipes. And then he gives a philosophical judgment here. He says, mistress of passion, for affection, mistress of passion sways it to the mood of what it likes or loathes. A very important line here. He says, our personal feelings, they rule our emotions. Personal feelings, they rule our emotions and sways it to the mood, and they change to the mood of likes or dislikes, and they decide our likes or dislikes. Then he says, now for your answer, as there is no firm reason to be rendered why he cannot abide a gaping pig. Then he says, there is no specific reason for a person to hate a gaping pig, or to hate a cat, or to even hate the shrill note of bagpipe. So, why he a harmless necessary cat? Why he a woolen bagpipe? But force must yield to such inevitable shame. So it is just force of manner that they have to react in such a shameful manner. They are compelled to do it, as to offend himself being offended, and they must give offense to others, and they feel shameful in this manner of their behavior. So can I give no reason? Nor I will not. I cannot give any reason, and I will not give any reason. But more than a lost hate and a certain loathing I bear Antonio, that I follow thus a losing suit against him. Are you answered? So I just have what? Lost hate, deep-rooted hatred, and a certain loathing, detestation. Again, hatred only I bear for Antonio, and that I follow thus, that is why I am pursuing this losing suit, unprofitable case against Antonio. Are you answered? Now Bassanio intervenes in between. He gets angry. He says, this is no answer, though unfeeling man, to excuse the current of thy cruelty. For the excuse or the account of your merciless action, there is no excuse. This is not the excuse you can give. Shylock says, I am not bound to please you with my answer. Bassanio says, do all men kill the things they do not love? Of course, we do not kill all the things. No, we do not. If we don't love anything, we don't kill it. But Shylock says, hates any man the thing he would not kill. Is there any man who does not kill something that he really hates, truly hates? Bassanio says, every offense is not a hate at first. Every fault is not hatred from the beginning. Then Shylock says, wouldst to have a serpent sting thee twice? Would you let a serpent, a snake, sting you twice? Would you wait for this? Or for the first time, he is giving answer to Bassanio, very beginning, for the first sting only will you not take any action. Antonio is listening to all this unnecessary conversation. He is fed up, and he requests Bassanio to, he says, pray you, think you question with the Jew. So I request to you, you are arguing with the Jew. Then he gives again 3 examples. He says, he gives 3 examples where we can motivate someone or something and it can be done. What are these 3 things? He says, you might well stand upon the beach and stand on the seashore and ask the ocean tide not to rise. You may even well question the wolf and ask why he made the mother sheep mourn for the lamb he devoured or ate. You may even well forbid not to do, tell not to do. The mountain pines not to do what? Can tell the pines standing on the mountains to sway their high tops. Wag their high tops, sway their high tops, and to make no noise. You can tell them not to do this. When they are threatened with the gusts of heaven, when they are moving or disturbed with the winds from heaven, from above. You may as well do anything most hard as seek to soften that, then what's harder. So you might as well do the most difficult thing in the world rather than attempt a thing which is much or still harder. Now what is the harder thing? To soften the heart of Jew. Therefore I do beseech you, make no more offers, use no further means, but with all brief and plain conveniency, as it is convenient to you, let me have the judgment, and let Jew have his will. So Bassanio offers 3,000 ducats instead of 3,000. He says, let you have 6. But Shylock says, for every 6 ducat, even if it is multiplied by 6 and every part is a ducat, even then I will not have it. I will have my bond. Duke says, how shall thou hope for mercy rendering room when you are not showing any mercy, Sherlock? How can you hope for mercy from God at this moment? So Sherlock again is after Duke for this. He says, what judgment shall I dread, doing no wrong? I am not doing any wrong. Children, here the meaning of judgment for Sherlock and Antonio is totally different. The meaning of judgment, according to Sherlock, is something like he is having the meaning of judgment according to the Old Testament of the law of Jews, which says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So he considers himself to be acting as per the law. Okay, and this belief contradicts the Christian law voiced by Portia later on, which regards mercy and forgiveness as the highest attributes to God. So Sherlock is not aware that he is asking for a wrong judgment. So he says, you have among you many a purchased slave, which like your asses and your dogs and mules you use in abject and slavish parts because you bought them. So you, Duke, he asked Duke, you keep many slaves from whom you have bought, like your asses, your dukes, your dogs and mules, and you use them in menial tasks. You give them small tasks, and you bought them, and because you bought them. Shall I say to you, let them be free? Marry them to your heirs, marry your children to them. Why sweat they under burdens? Why should they sweat under burdens? Give them beds as soft as you have. Give them food as you eat. You will answer, the slaves are ours. So in the same manner, Duke, I am answering you, the pound of flesh which I am demanding from Antonio is dearly bought. Dearly bought how? Because he has given 3,000 ducats. This you should remember. It's mine and I will have it. If you deny me, fie upon your law. If you deny me, then you should be ashamed of the legal system of your country, Venice. There is no force in the decrees of Venice. I stand for judgment. Answer, shall I have it? And there is no authority, legal authority in Venice to deny me this. And I am demanding justice only. So answer, shall I have it or not? Duke says, upon my power, I may dismiss this court unless Bellario, a learned doctor, whom I have sent for to determine this, come here today. So Duke is again, he's fed up to trying to convince Sherlock, and therefore he says, upon my power, if it is in my authority, I may adjourn the court unless Bellario, a learned doctor whom I've requested to come here to settle down the case, he comes here today. Children, with this I'm ending this video here. Next lines we will do in the next video.